Hey folks, welcome back to the Leeds Gamer. It's match review time. Leeds United and Crystal Palace have drawn 0-0. Zip. No goals. Nada. Niente zilch. However, as always, the score doesn't tell the whole story. So, let's get into it. We'll start with the Premier League table. As you can see, that draw has left Leeds and Crystal Palace in the exact same positions they were before the match played, I think. Certainly Leeds were in 15th before the ball had been kicked. Palace, I think, were either 13th or 14th, so they haven't shifted. I think they must have been 14th, because Sunderland already had 40 anyway. So I'm assuming that's right. Albeit Brighton have actually lofted themselves a little higher, have they? Possibly? Not sure. No, they beat Sunderland, so it looks as if those two have kind of swapped positions. Anyway, point being, Leeds still in 15th, 30 games played now, so 8 remaining. 7 wins, 11 draws, 12 losses, 37 scored, 48 conceded at minus 11 goal difference with 32 points on the board. The last 5 showing us 3 draws and 2 losses, with our next match being at Ellen Road against Brentford. So, as you can see there, Leeds are still top of the pile in terms of this little group of teams that could still get 18th. Realistically, I think Palace only need a point now, and then you can count them out. So realistically, they're not really in the battle anymore. So it is really between Leeds, Tottenham, Nottingham, and West Ham. Just quickly reviewing the 3 teams directly below Leeds. Tottenham got a 90th minute goal from Richarlison against Liverpool to snatch a 1-1 draw. I am absolutely livid. Liverpool, you shit! You couldn't hold on against a team who has the worst form guide of all 20 teams in the entire division. Pathetic from the Reds, and quite frankly, it's amazing that they're in the top 5 after that, quite frankly. So the less said about that, the better, because I'm fuming, and I still think Tottenham go down. I really do. But anyway, Nottingham Forest, they got a draw, so they are on the same kind of form guide as Leeds, with 3 draws and 2 losses in the last 5. West Ham, only slightly better than that. They've got an extra win in there, with 3 draws and just 1 loss. But as you can see, both Forest and West Ham are now both on 29 points. So, despite the fact that both Burnley and Wolves are making a fight of it in the bottom 2 there, they're still not getting out of it. They've left it too little too late. The only slightly downside from a Leeds perspective is that Leeds still have to play the bottom 2, of which a few weeks ago would have been a pair of easy wins. Now, not so sure. Those 2 games could be a little closer than what it comes across. Anyway, the good thing from Leeds' point of view is that it is a point closer to survival to stay another season in the Premier League. I think now, realistically, we need 8 points from 8 games. It's that straightforward from a points point of view. If we get 40, we stay up. I think with 8 games to go, I just don't see us needing anything more than that. For any of those teams out of Leeds, Spurs, Forest and West Ham, to get a point per game over the last 8 games is not really relegation form. But the positions that they're in currently dictate the situation. So for me, I think we can nail those extra 8 points that we need to get that magic 40. I really do. And I'm hopeful I'm hopeful that, you know, if we assume that Crystal Palace are going to get that draw at some point in the very near future to get 40 for them, I would like to see us as the next team to get that 40-point mark. And numerically, we've got the advantage over the others from a points point of view. Tottenham need 10 points, and Forest and West Ham need 11. That's quite hard. You know that you know for teams near the bottom of the league, that is not an easy run to have to try and get 40. From Leeds' point of view, point per game between now and the end of the season gets us 40 points, and I'd be absolutely fine with that. I would have liked to have seen us get the 10 wins and the 10 draws and do it that way, but it looks as if we might be going more down the draw route than the win route. But still chance of a couple of wins in there as well, I think. So, all that being said, let's have a look at the Leeds United Crystal Palace game in a little bit of detail. So, let's see what we got. So, as you can see there, finished 0-0, red card to Gabby Goodmanson with only a couple of kicks before half time. After a second yellow card, created a red. This guy, someone sack him. Send him down to the Conference South. Or National League South, whatever. Dreadful. He forgot that Gabby Goodmanson was on a yellow and looked embarrassed to give him the second yellow to send him off. And then on top of that, he'd already booked Brennan Johnson for Palace, and Johnson got away with 2 or 3 fouls thereafter and never sent him off. Where's the consistency? This is about the 3rd or 4th consecutive game that I have had to mention the extremely unprofessional and low quality level of the refereeing. I'm getting sick and tired of mentioning him. But this fella, like, go and referee Sheffield United. You've got their stadium name in your surname, for Christ's sake. Go to Bramall Lane. Go referee them permanently. Whatever you do, just don't referee Leeds again. Embarrassing. And I'll tell you something as well, something that the ref didn't pick up on because it was something done behind the ref's back. Friggin' abysmal, and I'll get onto it now by clicking on the lineups. This piece of crap, freaking Camvot, he can have a shovel shoved up his ass. What a cocky, arrogant piece of trash. And that is polite. As soon as Gabby Goodmanson got the red card, he celebrated like he'd just won World Sodding Cup. What an absolute prick. JD Camvot, wherever you came from, you little shite. Think yourself lucky that someone didn't hurl something at you. The only person that peed me off more than the referee today was him. Because that little shite bag, he done, so damn disrespectful. Absolutely disgusting behaviour. So he can toddle off as far as I'm concerned. And thank God we don't need to come up against that little piece of crap again this season. Oh, right, rant over. God, boils my bodily fluids, it really does. Right, now I've got that rant over. Oh, that pees me off. From a Leeds point of view, starting with Darlow in goal, 3 centre-backs of Joe Rodon, Jacobiol and Pascal Strout. Wing-backs of James Justin and Gabby Goodmanson. Midfield of Ampadu and Stack. Brendan Aronson a little bit further forward. Now, I thought when I saw the lineup it was going to be the way that Fotmob has laid it out here, but actually it was more like Aronson and Metcha behind Calvert-Lewin up front. I personally prefer to see Metcha further forward, alongside Calvert-Lewin, with Aronson kind of playing an advanced central midfield role / 10, if you like. From a Palace point of view, they started with their backup goalkeeper Benitez. Henderson wasn't in the squad at all. Back three of Richards, Lacroix, and that wanker that we're not going to mention his name. Johnson, who should have been sent off. He was the next person I didn't like today. He should have gone. Hughes, Lerma, Mitchell, Sarr, Gesson just in front of that, and Strand Larsen after that. Out of their lineup, I would have said Gesson was their most ineffectual player in the entire game. Offered nothing. He was garbage. Yeah. He was possibly their worst player, aside from that. Ugh, no, move on. Move on, Clive. Breathe. Alright. As far as subs were concerned, Leeds just made the 2 substitutions slap bang on half time at the start of the second half due to the red card that was given to Gudmundsson. So Bogle came on and Gruev. Both of them did fine, actually. And, you know, second half in particular, the defensive performance from these guys was excellent. Nullified this lot to virtually nothing. Ampadu, just excellent, you know, in that second half. Just he led by example today, did Ethan. Really, really good. And as I say, a bit of a shout out for the entire back three there. And Darlow got a couple of crucial strong hands to a couple of bits. But Palace offered so little. They really did. Palace ended up bringing on Wharton, Mateta, Kamada and Pino. The first 2 on the hour, the second 2 on 80. And none of those did much of anything. Biol pocketed both Strand Larsen and Mateta. You know, a pair of strikers that combined cost about 80 million quid. And yeah, nothing from either. I rate Kamada. I think he's a decent player, but he didn't out. Wharton's highly rated. He didn't do a right lot. Pino's okay. He didn't do out. So, you know, all these subs didn't come on at all. Leeds were kind of penned back a bit in terms of the decisions that could have been made from regarding subs, because obviously of going down to 10 men. And the lads worked their socks off. Like, defensively worked their absolute socks off. They were really, really good from a defensive point of view. Kept this lot absolutely nullified them. They really did. Unavailable players, just Noah Okafor. Hopefully we get him back soon. Gives us another option off the bench. They were missing Munoz, who's quite highly rated, Doucouré and Nketiah, who obviously Leeds know about from when he had a brief loan spell. So yeah, that's as far as the lineups were concerned. Let's have a quick look at the stats. I don't usually divide this up, but I'll read it out as a whole to start with. So overall, it suggests that Palace had more of the possession. Leeds had more expected goal, ever so slightly. Palace did more passes. Leeds had one big chance that Palace didn't. Leeds had more shots on target. Palace had more attempts on goal, but weren't very good. Palace had 8 corners compared to Leeds just having 3. And Palace even committed more fouls. You wouldn't believe it, on the basis of Bramall's bloody decision making, the referee. Anyway, from a shots point of view, pretty close really. I know that there's more blue blobs than there are yellow blobs, but ultimately, yeah, not a vast amount of difference really. In terms of defensively, obviously going down to 10 men forced Leeds to go in a more defensive shape in the second half, and so therefore Leeds dominate the defensive stats overall. But Benitez, according to this, made 3 saves in the match, whereas Darlow didn't make any. Yeah, you know, it says a lot, doesn't it? Duels, mostly dominated by Palace there. Doesn't matter that much. Discipline, forget that section. Jesus Christ. Passing, yeah, Palace passed a lot. So what? They didn't do out with it. Really didn't. Palace, when you put the 2 matches together, Palace have been one of the most ineffectual teams against Leeds United all season. They lost 4-1, and that wasn't like a false scoreline, if you like. Leeds were that good on that day, and today they've just been a very defensively sound unit of Leeds today, especially caused by that red card and playing the whole second half with 10 men. Because I think if Leeds keep Gabby Gudmundsson on the pitch, we don't get that red card, I think we win the game. I think we would have been a little bit more proactive and gone a little bit more for it. Farke picked a good looking lineup today in terms of, he went a little bit more attacking than what he'd done against Sunderland. I wonder if Farke regrets the lineup he put up against Sunderland. I think the lineup today would have been a good lineup against Sunderland. And I think that today's lineup against Sunderland, we would have beaten them. And I think we would have beaten Palace too. I'm begging that Farke just keeps this kind of layout that we've got, because that lineup can be very flexible. You can either have DCL up front with Aronson and Metro just behind, or you can go with the front 2, which is what I want them to do, and have Aronson just behind. Either way, the fullbacks are going to bomb on, whether it be Gudmundsson, Justin, Bogle. They're going to support. Stack's going to get forward when he can to support the front bunch along with Aronson. Ampadu and Stack, to be fair, are going to be really good defensively. And then you've got a back line that is very difficult to break down. They are usually very solid as a defensive unit. So, those are all the stats as a whole, but just look at the difference. I'm not going to read all of this out, but in the first half you can see that Leeds were actually the better team for the majority. Look at all the yellow blobs. Leeds really were quite decent in that first half, and it was all spoiled by that sodding red card. Anyway, second half, and this is where you'll see a big difference. And you can see it, the second half, there's nothing there. Look at all of these low figures. Like, it's only defensively from Leeds that really sticks out. And maybe the passing from Palace. But ultimately, that's how it was, and the second half was just a nothing half. The match was spoilt by that red card. Now, if he sends Johnson off at any point in that second half, when he should have done, Bramall, then all of a sudden you've got 10v10. Farke might then have decided, 10v10, I'm going to get some more attacking players on. Dan James, Willie Nonto, Joel Pirro. I might decide to chuck all 3 of them on, or 2 of them in some capacity, and then we go for it. Because then it becomes an equal match, and in terms of personnel, and it could be a different game by then. But went to be, so finishing up, but with the Premier League table. A quick look at Leeds' home form. Still 13th in the league with a solid record. Away from home, that draw won't have done much for Leeds, I don't think. No, still 18th. Don't matter what we do, we can't get out of being 18th away from home. But yeah, it is what it is. Last 5 matches, Leeds will be a bit mixed, I think. Actually, last 5 were pretty bad. Yeah, 3 draws and 2 losses. So we really need a win just to start bumping that up again now. But these, the good news for Leeds is that these 2 are still rubbish. So, we're okay in that regard. Look at Wolves, 7th best team in the league right now over the last 5. That is disgusting. You know, it is what it is. Yeah, so Leeds, 15th place, 32 points. I reckon just another 8 points out of the last 8 games, and we stay up. I'm going to leave it there, folks. We're at the 20-minute mark, so let's leave it there. Big thank you for watching all the support. I really do appreciate it. We've had a couple more subscribers to the channel, which is fantastic. Big thank you to those new subs. Let's as I say, let's keep growing this channel. I really want to. I'm extremely ambitious. I want to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. It's highly ambitious. Let's see if we can do it. But we're on the right track. As far as Leeds are concerned, they're on the right track. Another point closer to safety. We'll have it. Big thank you for watching. Do please hit the thumbs up like if you haven't already. What am I saying? Do please hit the thumbs up like. Hype it as well. And do please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But in the meantime, have a good one. See you next time. Bye for now.